Let's talk about trade negotiations first. President Trump has said there are 150 countries, that it's not quite possible to see everyone. What is the progress on US-Malaysia negotiations at the moment? How active is that?
We've started the negotiations with the US, and my last meeting with USTR was about 2 weeks ago during the sidelines of the APEC conference. And our team is going to the US again next week. So negotiations ongoing. As you know, we have a 90-day pause, and we try to come up with some mutual understanding on the issue about tariffs. So the negotiations going on. I hope that we can find a amicable solution to this.
In the case of the UK and China, just taking that as an example, even after discussions, the truce, a deal, the baseline is still 10%. Malaysia is threatened with 24 to 10. I mean, what is the calculus for Malaysia in terms of overall the major concessions that is willing to give?
Well, we were told that, and I think to be fair, US has also been public about this, that the 10% is not negotiable. That seems to be the floor, right? So for us, anything that can go below 24 or at least 10, the minimum that the US will be good for our industries and for our exporters. And for Malaysia, again, what's important for us is to try and come to a win-win solution. US is still our largest export market for Malaysia, and the US is still our largest investor. So it's important that we continue to have the engagement and dialogue with the US.
The US has also sought Malaysia's help to deal with the issue of transshipments. Malaysia's solutions has sort of been for your ministry to issue certs of origin. What are you seeing in terms of the teething issues, if any, amid the implementation?
Well, obviously, when the concern started because of the tariff itself, because there was a big opportunities for some exporters to use other countries as a base to look at how to circumvent the tariff. But for Malaysia, we have seen that since the introduction of COO by our ministry, previously was given for our chambers to issue the COO, the country of origin rules certificate. And of course, there are concerns by some exporters because they also don't want to be accused of doing transshipment. So the genuine exporters are quite happy.
Malaysia is benefiting from this front-loading dynamic in terms of exports. We've seen that fueling chips, electrical goods as well. How long do you see that impact lasting?
Well, again, I don't have a crystal ball, and it's happening globally, right? Because the companies, naturally, if you talk to any companies, they are focusing on ensuring the commercial viability of their business. So they are front-loading in a way that to ensure that the cost is kept at the minimum, right? So as long as, well, still it's a function of supply. As long as there's supply, as long as the ability to import at the tariff that they feel is not going to be at the new rate. So it's all dependent on those companies.
To what extent, then, are you potentially worried about the economic payback in the back half of the year?
No, again, you do have to look at fundamental. As policymaker, we do not engage in speculation where, this company is going to export X amount and suddenly there'll be less than Y. So we have to look at the long term, right? For us, as an open economy, like many other countries around Southeast Asia, we want to ensure that we create the right ecosystem for exporters to export to markets like the US. US is one of our major markets, but it's about 13% of our total exports, right? We still have another 87% still ongoing, right? So I feel that we need to ensure that we facilitate the exporters as much as possible.